And the unitarity triangle at the time was something a little bit weird for me, because I only had been exposed to a mixing matrix of quarks in the weak interaction in some undergraduate course, but some very fast mentioning, well, and at the end of the day, not all the phases can be reabsorbed, and there is one phase left there that, well, causes some CP violation effects that maybe later in your life you might end up having a little bit more of details. Okay, and in that meeting, Pepe, with all details, showed us what that matrix and the unitarity triangles that came after it meant. And remember, at the time, CP violation wasn't measured at the B quark system. There were 3 experiments planned at the time. That was HEDA-B, BABAR, and Bell experiments. And soon after, another one was approved at CERN. It was the LHCb, actually the one that our university is involved into. And those rows and columns of this CKM matrix somehow continued 1 year later in a winter meeting in Fort Miguel in 1997. And at that time, over dinner, Pepe also explained us about some other important rows, the so-called filas, from his Muchamel cultural festivities in Alicante. Pepe Bernabeu is from Muchamel, that since I got to know, was awarded a university, which was kind of independence privilege from Alicante back in 1518, the same time that the church was built in Muchamel. So, then time went by. I did my PhD somewhere else, and few years later, I bumped again with Pepe in somewhere else. At this time, it was at the SLAC, and he somehow made a proposal to the B factories and specifically to SLAC, and he came to explain us a methodology and some concepts to implement an experiment to directly proving time reversal non-invariance without any experimental connection to CP violation. And as a result of that, a measurement was made at the BABAR experiment. And actually, I think it's the first time that I signed a paper with Pepe, not because I know any theoretical physics, but because he knows actually where experimentalists have to go and measure something. And he was invited to sign that measurement paper. In between these 2 periods, for those who know Pepe, he's involved in almost everything that has to do with particle physics and so on and so forth, but also in the surroundings of particle physics. So he was one of the endorsers and promoters of the Laboratorio Subterráneo de Canfranc. Also, he was also pushing for the application of accelerator-based technologies like hadron therapy through this IFIMED infrastructure at IFIC. And I could spend hours or days glossing about Pepe's curriculum vitae, but let me just stress few that has the relationship with the University of Barcelona and with our faculty. His PhD supervisor was Pedro Pascual, that also was a professor here. And he also had held positions here at the University of Barcelona. He was profesor adjunto contratado in 1973, profesor agregado interino in thermology in the 74, and also profesor agregado in quantum mechanics in 76, 77. That course. Of course, in between, he moved to CERN, Louvain, Valencia, Oviedo, and then back in Valencia when he became full professor in 1981. He has been able to teach and has taught all possible subjects in the long list of graduate level courses and that it would be impossible to detail here. So, well, I don't want to get myself too extended here, but I think it made crystal clear that the Faculty of Physics of the University of Barcelona is very proud and honored to have Professor José Bernabeu here today on this colloquia that is titled Time Reversal and CPT Asymmetries with Entangled Mesons. Thank you very much.